Hi, it's Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky back with my pans and plans. Well, of course, the big news right now is about what's happening in Ukraine. And this is a war of choice by Vladimir Putin, who decided to invade a country with no provocation whatsoever. And violate what is really the central rule that holds our peace together in the world, not to violate the sovereign territory of another country. And of course, that's exactly what he has done with the kind of violence that can create all kinds of suffering and death. And we are seeing the horror right now, day to day, hour by hour on television. We do have to say that the Ukrainians are really fighting back. And it looks like that they were able to take back an airport, that they are out on the street, that they are not taking it sitting down, that's for sure. The president has not left the country despite the request that he do so, and so Ukraine is standing tough. In the meantime, the United States is not standing by and just watching either, nor are our allies around the world. Members of Congress had a briefing from key members of the cabinet, including Janet Yellen, the Secretary of the Treasury, who made very clear that the United States is targeting the financial infrastructure of the Russian economy, and that these sanctions that we are putting on all of the major banks that are there are really going to cripple the ability of the Russians to maintain their economy. Their currency is at risk right now. Inflation is a real problem for them. Higher borrowing costs. This is a real strain on the economy, and it is showing up right away. In addition, there are sanctions against the buddies of Putin, the oligarchs, and their families, who are all being sanctioned right now. They have little control of the money that they want to access around the world right now. Certainly nothing with the United States of America, and they are prohibited from traveling to the United States at all. And other countries are doing similar kinds of sanctions against individuals and against Russia. And so we are seeing not only that, but the United States of America has sent more of our military personnel to countries not in Ukraine, of course. We aren't going to send any of our soldiers to Ukraine, but we are sending more military personnel to the surrounding countries, to the NATO countries, to our allies. We are spending millions and millions of dollars in military assistance to help the Ukrainians and to, again, help our allies in the surrounding countries. We are watching carefully the effect on our oil supplies, and the president has been encouraging all of the oil manufacturers that we have abilities to influence to not take advantage and raise the prices. We're looking at the petroleum reserves to see what we can do to make sure that Americans don't suffer from that too much. But this is a crisis that we have to remember, that Vladimir Putin, that Russia is a nuclear power, and he had the gall, of course, to remind us all of that. And so this is a very perilous time, but we are going to do everything we can to minimize the impact and to cut it as short as possible. I want to say I think that President Biden has really done a good job in handling this situation, in particular in uniting all of our allies, assuring the NATO allies that while we won't send troops, that he won't let 1 inch of NATO territory not be defended. And so I think whereas Putin might have wanted to try and divide the world, he has done the opposite. It is now more united than it has ever been, and to his peril. Well, on to the better news. And I would say there is some very, very good news. We have a new nominee for the Supreme Court of the United States of America, the first African-American woman, and an incredible, qualified, wonderful justice for the Supreme Court, Ketanji Brown Jackson. She has an incredible background. You know, she was a clerk for Justice Breyer at the Supreme Court. She was also a defense attorney, which I think is really exciting. Often court justices are prosecutors. She was a defense attorney, and she is the current on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. And she has been confirmed not once, not twice, but 3 times by the Senate of the United States for different positions. And most recently, she was supported in a bipartisan way for her current position just about a year ago. And so we believe that she will have the votes. We're confident that she will have the votes to be on the Supreme Court. Very, very exciting, history making, wonderful. I also wanted to tell you that her guidance counselor in high school warned her not to have her sights set too high because she said she wanted to go to Harvard. Well, yeah. She went to Harvard. She graduated from Harvard Law School. So much for that really bad advice for this wonderful young woman. Now, I also wanted to talk to you about what I did this week, a really exciting thing. I went to a naturalization ceremony. It was held at Northwestern University, which is in my district. There were nearly 500 people finally becoming, and I say finally because it's a long haul to become a citizen of the United States. It's not that easy, and it's actually kind of expensive as well to do that. So these people had done a lot. 78 different countries were represented, 10 of them from Ukraine. And it was a special moment for me. I brought along with me to the ceremony the naturalization papers of my father, who was naturalized to be a citizen of the United States at the age of 9 with his mom and dad and 2 brothers in 1915. He was actually from Russia. At the time, it was Russia. Now it's Lithuania. But my mom, who also came from Russia initially as a small child, today it is Ukraine. So I felt a kind of connection to the Ukrainians who were there as well, and to the whole news that is going on right now. But I was really moved. I said I brought 2 things. I brought my father's naturalization papers, and I brought Kleenex because it's really, really exciting. They came also with their families who were behind them, really cheering them on. And it's really something to see people in their different countries and their different dress and raising their hand and taking that oath to be loyal to the United States of America only. And they made a good decision for themselves and for their children to come to the United States. I said to them, this is what America looks like. You are what America looks like. It was a great opportunity for me. I really appreciate it. On the not so good side, these are plans and pans. Here's a pan. Governor Abbott of Texas now has declared that, quote, all duty reporters, those are teachers, police, counselors, social workers, have to, quote, report every transgender child that they encounter. That the governor has ordered that parents be investigated to find out if they are supporting the gender identity of that child. In other words, are they aiding and abetting through either medication or therapy or even the clothing that those children would wear? In other words, are they going to support the child in the gender clothing that that child wants? Can you believe this? Now, it sounds perfectly against the unconstitutional, but this is the extent of the attacks on transgender youth that we are seeing in this country. I'm so fortunate. I am the proud grandmother, as you know. Isaac is my transgender grandson. He's now graduated from college and is student teaching and living in a very comfortable environment where people support him, and he's a happy, protected young man. But that is not true for everyone around the country. And Governor Abbott, shame, 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 shame on you. I also wanted to tell you that the White House has announced several different steps to assist people with disabilities to not only get the free COVID tests available to them, but also to get more testing and treatments. And there is a new hotline that has been set up for people should be able to call. The new hotline is called the Disability Information Access Line, DIAL, dial, and it is available at 1-800-677-1199. Okay, so if you need help getting tests, if you need help with COVID, this is the line that you want to call. You will get someone that answers you, that answers and can direct you to how to get what you need. If you can't use the testing program at home, there are alternative ways that they can direct you to. And if you need other kinds of help, please call that number. I'm going to repeat it again, 1-800-677-1199 for people with disabilities who need help with COVID. Now, there's also some real big new news. So there are new guidelines at the Center for Disease Control when it comes to COVID-19. And in many cases, it means the relaxing of mask mandates. But it goes by, it updates the COVID community levels. So where there is a low level of COVID, and that would be where there is limited hospitalization, limited severe cases. And what it says is that for low-level communities, actually it's county by county that's being set, it does not recommend universal masking. For medium, CDC does not recommend for the general population, but it does say for people who are high risk that you should consult your physician and then determine what kind of precautions you need to take. So for the general public, it does not recommend masking. For the high levels, that is, there's high level of hospitalization, there are a number of new cases, then they are saying that everyone should wear a mask indoors in public. But the good news in the country is that 70% of Americans now reside in areas where the CDC no longer says that universal masking is required. Now, here in Illinois, starting on March 1st, there will not be indoor masking required. And in the schools, now understand that school districts can make their own decisions right now, and areas can make their own decisions, but there is no mandate that says there has to be indoor masking in the state of Illinois. Now, in the Chicago Public Schools, it seems as of now, is saying that teachers and personnel in the schools and children are to continue wearing masks. So that's where we are for right now. So we seem to be definitely making progress on the COVID front. Isn't that great? I'm still going to caution all of you to just think about it, be careful. If it seems like you're going into a dangerous situation, you want to keep that mask handy anyway. But this is definitely good news. I'm still hopeful that we're going to be able to get the rest of the world vaccinated so that we aren't going to see any new versions of COVID-19 pop up, new variants. But right now, looks like we're on a good trajectory. So I want to wish all of you good health and happiness, and I will see you next week. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where my handle is @Jan Schakowsky.